Hello everyone. This is the video for the implementation of operating system lab experiments. In this video, we will implement the Banker's algorithm in C language, which is used for deadlock avoidance. Before implementation of Banker's algorithm, let's just take a quick introduction about deadlocks. So first thing, we should know what is deadlock. So deadlock is a set of blocked processes, each holding a resource and waits to acquire a resource held by another process in the set. It means, suppose a system has two disk drives and there are two processes P1 and P2 running in the system, and each process holds one disk drive and each needs another one. So no process will be able to complete its execution. So we can say that system is in deadlock. Let's understand another example. Suppose two trains are approaching each other at the crossing in a single same railway track, but to prevent accidents, neither shall start until other has gone. So we can say that it's a deadlock situation. Deadlock often happen in the concurrent system. There are four conditions to hold deadlock. First condition is mutual exclusion. Second is hold and wait. Third is no preemption. And fourth condition is circular wait. There are different methods to handle a deadlock. First method is deadlock prevention or avoidance. This method is used to ensure that a system will never in a deadlock state. Second method is deadlock detection or correction. This method allows a system in a deadlock state and then recover it. Third method is ignorance. Ignore the problem and pretend that deadlock never happened. Now we have to know about the Banker's algorithm before implementing it. Banker's algorithm is a deadlock avoidance algorithm. It is named so because this algorithm is used in banking system to determine whether a loan can be granted or not. Consider there are n account holders in a bank and the sum of the money in all of their accounts is called sum. Every time a loan has to be granted by the bank, so it subtracts the loan amount from the total money and the bank has, then it checks it that the difference is greater than the S. It is done because only then the bank would have enough money even if all the n account holders draw all their money at once. Banker's algorithm works in a similar way in computers. So whenever a new process is created, it must specify the maximum instances of each resource type that it needs exactly. It means whenever a process is created, then it has to mention to the operating system then how many maximum resources number each need for the process to finish its complete execution. Here, instances is nothing but we can say that the number of each resource type. Let's assume that there are n processes and m resource type. Some data structures that are used to implement the Banker's algorithm are: first data structure is available, second is max, third is allocation, and fourth data structure is need. What is the available data structure? It is an array of length m. It represents the number of available resources of each type. It means it shows that there are how many numbers are available for each process or for each resource type in the current scenario. So if available resources are k, then there are k instances available of resource type r. Second data structure is max. It is an n cross m matrix which represents the maximum number of instances of each resource that a process can request. It means there is a specified fixed limit of a number that a process can request. If max ij is equal to k, then the process pi can request at most k instances of resource type rj. Suppose there are 10 numbers of printers and there are two processes P1 and P2 and P1 max need is 7. So P1 process cannot ask for 8 resource of the printer. Third is allocation. It is also an n cross n matrix which represents the number of resources of each type currently allocated to each process. If allocation ij is equal to k, then process pi is currently allocated k instances of resource type R. The fourth matrix is need. It is an n cross m matrix which indicates the remaining source needs of each process. So if need ij is equal to k, then process pi may need k more instances of resource type rj to complete this task. It means there are 10 printers and a process maximum need is 7 printers, and currently it has allocated the we can say 3 printers, so it needs to complete its execution 4 more printers. So to find out the need matrix, we should follow the formula, which is need ij is equal to maximum minus allocation. Here this is resource request algorithm. This describes the behavior of the system when a process makes a resource request in the form of a request matrix. To follow this, the steps are: first step is, if the number of requested instances of each resource is less than the need, go to step 2. What is the step 2? If number of requested instances of each resource type is less than the available resources of each type, then go to step 3. And if not, the process has to wait because sufficient sources are not available yet. Now assume that the resource has been allocated accordingly. Do what is available? How can we find the available? Available is the available minus request. And now we need to find allocation, which is allocation plus request for that process. And need is for one process is equal to need of that process minus request of that process. This step is done because the system needs to assume that resource has been allocated, so there will be less resources available after allocation. The number of allocated instances will increase, the need of the resource by the process will reduce, and that's what is represented by the above 3 operations. After completing the above 3 steps, check if the system is in safe state by applying the safety algorithm. And if it is in safe state, proceed to allocate the requested resource, else the process has to wait longer. This algorithm describes the behavior of the system when a process makes a resource request in the form of request matrix. The steps are: let's understand one mathematical example to implement and understand the Banker's algorithm. Suppose there are 5 processes P0 through P4 and 3 resource types, which is A resource, B resource, and C resource. E resource has 10 instances, B resource has 5 instances, and C resource has 7 instances. And at a time T0, there are 3 different matrices. First one is allocation matrix, second one is max matrix, and third would be the need matrix. And there is one array which is called available array. So first we need to know what is the current status of the resources. So for P0, there are allocation for resource 0, resource 1 for B, and C for resource 0. That means at current scenario, the 0 instances of A is allocated to P0 and 1 instances of B is allocated to P0, and C instances of resource allotted to P0. Likewise, 2 instances of A allotted to P1, 0 instances of B allotted to P1, and 0 instances of resource C is allotted to P1. Likewise, P2 302, P3 211, and P4 002. What is the maximum matrix? Max matrix shows that which is the maximum number of resources that a process can request for. Like P0 can request the maximum number of 7 for resource A, maximum number of 5 for resource B, and maximum number of resource 3 for C. Likewise, P0, P2, P3, and P4, there is the maximum matrix. Now, what is the available array? It is an array which shows that what is the currently available resources for resource A, resource B, and resource C, which is the 3, 3, and 2. Now we have to find the need matrix, which is already defined by the formula max minus allocation. So from this method, we can allocate the need matrix for P naught, that would be 743, P1 122, P2 600, P3 011, and P4 431. Now we have to check whether which process is now execute and which is not. So now let's recheck for the process P naught. Let's suppose we already know that we have the available resource of 3A for 3, 3 for B, and 2 for C resource. But P naught recently required the 7 resource for A, 4 resource for B, and 3 instance of resource C. So which is not possible to execute. So it will skip the P naught process and we will move further for P1 process. Now let's check what is the current scenario for P1 process. P1 needs the 1 instance of resource A, 2 instance of resource B, and 2 instance of resource C. Now we check if it is available or not. Yes, it is available. 3 instance resources for A is available, 3 instance resources of B is available, and 2 instance resources of available. So it can successfully execute. And after execution, P1 will release all the resource which has already acquired by the process P1. And now it will increase the number of all the resources released by the P1, and then other process P2, P3, P4 like run according to this. So after releasing all the process, there is a sequence execute which can say that the system is in safe criteria, and the execution was between the sequence of P1, P3, P4, P2, and P0. So this is a full algorithm for bankers implementation. Now let's do the implementation of bankers deadlock avoidance algorithm through C language. And for this, I used an online C compiler. We used online C compiler for implementation of bankers algorithm. So bankers algorithm is very lengthy. So first we will include our header file. Now void main function. Now I will declare some variables which is integer type. First variable will be max, which is a square matrix of size 10. Third variable will be need. To store the maximum need of the process, which is also a square matrix of size 10. Third matrix is for allocation of the variables. For allocation of resources. And next, to store the values of the available resources, to store the value of the completed process, here P is used for the number of process, R is for number of resources, I and J are the loop variable, count is initialized to 0, and another temporary variable which is process. Now we will enter the number of process. For this, I am going to write printf statement. Enter the number of process. Now I will scan this. Now, to store the completed process in the array, I will use a for loop. For I is equal to 0, I is less than p, I plus plus, and I will initialize the value of array to 0. So I will write complete array I is equal to 0. Now I will enter the number of resources from the user. Printer, enter the number of resources which is used for the variable R. Now I will scan the value. Scanner %d. Scanner %d %r. %d is used for the integer variable and R is the integer variable. Sorry. Now I will print the maximum matrix for each process. So I will write printer, enter the max matrix for each process. So for this, I will use the for loop with variable I. For I is equal to 0, I is less than p, p is the total number of the process, and I plus plus. Printf for the process number. So for process number, I will include the %d. Here to print this in a tabular form, we will print it like this, that each process associated with the maximum number of resources should be seen like a tabular format. So for this, we will use another for loop with another variable which is j. So I'm using for j is equal to 0, j is less than r, and j plus plus. Remember, r is the value of the resource. And now I will scan the value. Scanner %d %, max matrix of I and j. I will close the loop. Now I will enter the allocation for each process. So for each process, we will use the for loop. So first I'm going to write printf, enter the allocation for each process. For I is equal to 0, I is less than p, I plus plus. Please be very careful while writing loop of semicolon, where we have to put the semicolon and bracket. So like max matrix, we have to print this in a tabular form, allocation associated with each process. So again, I'm using for info process I plus 1. I will use again for loop for j is equal to 0, j is less than r, j plus plus, and I will scan this value. Scan of %d m% alloc ing. The next step is we have to print the available number of resources. So I will enter the available number of resources from the user. So I'm using printf statement, printf, enter the available resources. Now, to find out the need matrix, we will use the formula need is equal to max minus allocated. So for this, we will use true for loop to print in the matrix form. And again, I am using for loop for I is equal to 0, I is less than r, I plus plus, and scanner m%d available array I. For another for loop for I is equal to 0, I is less than p, I plus plus. I'm using these for loops to print the need matrix for j is equal to 0, j is less than r, j plus plus. Now I will apply the need formula, which is need I and j is equal to max I j minus alloc matrix I and j. Now I am going to use do while loop to run the process. So first, we will print the max matrix and allocation matrix. I'll do this under the do while loop. Printf /n max matrix /t, which is used for tabular. It will print the max matrix and an allocation matrix with some space between them. Allocation matrix /n. And now for values, I will use the for loop. For I is equal to 0, I is less than p, and I plus plus. Second loop, for j is equal to 0, for j is equal to 0, j is less than r, j plus plus. Now print the max matrix. So printf %d. I hope all of you know how to write the printf statement. Printf %d max ij. Now for some tab space, I will use printf /t/t. It will print the both matrix in a very proper form. Now to print the log matrix, I am using for loop for j is equal to 0, j is less than r, j plus plus. Again printf statement, printf %d log ij. Now printf /n, it will print the values from the new line. Now we will check if the process has completely executed and exit from the system or not. So for this, I am going to write the process is equal to -1. It will check if the process has completely executed and exit the system or not. So to check each and every process, I am using for loop for I is equal to 0, I is less than p, I plus plus, p is the total number of process. So if complete matrix I is equal to 0, it means I have allotted the initial value of completed matrix is equal to 0. I will assign the variable I to the process. I have took the completed array to store the number of the process which are completely executed. So I initialize the value of completed array to 0. I is initialized to process. And now for resource, I'll use for loop for j is equal to 0, j is less than r, j plus plus. Now we have to check the condition for a process to execute. If availability of resources is less than the need of the resource, need ij, then the process will not be able to execute. So for this, I am writing process is equal to -1. And now we will come out from the for loop. So I'm using break and all loops are closed. Now we have to check another condition. If process is not equal to -1, it means process has executed completely. Process is equal to -1. Process is equal to -1, then we will print the values of the completed process and we will increase the value of process by 1. Process %d, it will print the process with its number, runs to complete. Now we want to print the save sequence as the process has completed its execution. So here I used another variable, save sequence, save underscore sequence, which will store the value of process which are already completed and save sequence count is equal to process plus 1. Now count plus plus. What is the count variable? We are using the count variable for increase the value of the number of the process, and we initialize the value of count is equal to 0. Now I'm using another loop. For j is equal to 0, j is less than r, j plus plus. So when a process completes its execution, it releases all the resources while it was allocated before. So now we will print the values of the released resources and allocate it to another process. For this, I'm using some formulas. First formula is avail j is equal to avail j plus alloc process j, and the already allocated of that executed process will be 0. The max matrix of the executed process will already will be 0. Max process j 0, and the array of completed process will be increased by 1. Completed process is equal to 1. All loops are closed. Now we have to check the while condition. While count is not equal to p and process is not equal to -1. What is the meaning of this while loop? Means we have to run this while loop until the number of the count is equal to number of the process and the process is completely executed from the system. If count is equal to p, printf the system is in a safe state. Count is equal to p means all the process are successfully completed. Now to print save sequence, I will write printf save sequence, printf save sequence. To print this, I will use again for loop. For I is equal to 0, I is less than p, I plus plus, again printf %d and the array of save sequence. Save sequence I printf it will print the save sequence between the angular brackets, else the system will be in unsafe state. Printf the system is in an unsafe state, now main function is closed. This is the complete program of Banker's algorithm. Now we will run, enter the number of process. Now enter the number of resource. I've entered 3. Enter the max matrix for each process. For process 1, I'm using 7, 5, 3. For process 2, 3, 2, 2. For process 3, 7, 0, 2. For process 4, max 2, 2, 2. And for process 5, the max matrix will be 4, 3, and 3. Now we have to enter the allocation for each process. For process 1, the value are 0, 1, 0. For process 2, 2, 0, 0. For process 3, 3, 0, 2. For process 4, 2, 1, 1. And process 5, 0, 0, 2. Now we have to enter the available number of resources, which will be, I'm going to enter 3, 3, and 2. Now it will automatically print the result, all matrix. See, max matrix, allocation matrix, and according to this, process 2 runs to completion. And again, max matrix and allocation matrix are changed. Like this, process 4 runs to completion. So we can say that system is in safe state, and the safe sequence will be 2, 3, 4, 1, and 5. So process 2 will be run first, then process 3, process 4, process 1, and process 5. There will be no deadlock in this scenario. Here is the complete algorithm and complete video lab demonstration of Banker's algorithm. Thank you for watching this.